Hello, welcome back to the VDC space. Today we're going to be doing a basic BIM model of a bridge. We're just going to keep it as simple as we can. So everything you learned on my previous tutorials, we're going to apply the same logic when it comes to our bridge modeling. We're going to keep it as simple as we can. Level of detail 300. So we're going to model the basic stuff of a bridge: abutments, bases, piers, bearings, bridge decks, parapets, and also the approach slab. Now, before I get started, I would like to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you're already subscribed, hit the notification button as I upload BIM modeling tutorials and Revit tutorials 3 times every week. I cover different topics from wastewater to structural, architectural, aviation, roads and networks, and so on. So I'm considering when we get to 1,000 subscribers to open up a Patreon. So I would appreciate you guys if you support me when it comes to my Patreon. I will post a much longer content when it comes to my Patreon in terms of BIM models, and it's not just 3D. I will take it much further. I will generate 4D videos and 4D models from Navisworks, and I will show you guys how we can integrate Civil 3D and Revit together, and the workflow of bridge design, whereby we take things from Civil 3D to InfraWorks and also to Revit for quantification. So it's much deeper content and how it is applied in the real world in the industry. So I will start at Patreon, and I would appreciate your support from that platform. So without further ado, let's jump into Revit. So here we are in Revit 23. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up a new project. So I'm gonna open up the construction template, and then I'm just gonna uncheck these boxes, and then I'm gonna go to the south elevation to set up my levels. So I'm just gonna add more levels to this. So I'm just gonna randomly add 3 more levels. And then I'm just gonna change this to 00 dash, and then I'm gonna name this one bases. Enter. And then this one I'm gonna rename it to 01 dash PS. Enter. And then the height, okay, let me just change this one to 02 dash bearings. Enter. And then this one is gonna be 03 dash deck. Enter. And then the last one is gonna be 04 dash roadway. Enter. And then I'm just gonna adjust the offsets of these levels. So I'm gonna make this one 10,960 millimeters. And then the deck, I'm gonna make it 10,810 millimeters. So I'm just gonna reduce the scale to see things more clearly. And then after the deck, it's gonna be bearings. So I'm gonna make the bearings 7,810 millimeters. The piers, I'm gonna make them 7,500. So this is what we have. And now we're gonna go, as you can see on the structural plan, these are the levels we have. So in order for us to generate the same levels we have on the floor plans, we're gonna go to view, and then under create, we're gonna go to plan views, and then drop down, go to structural plan, and then select these two. Make sure that this box is checked. Do not duplicate existing views, and say OK. Go to the structural plan, and then go to your bases. Close the other floor plans, and now we're gonna add our grids. So I'm just gonna extend these views and levels. So I'm just gonna extend them like this. Now I'm going to add my grids. I'm going to go to architecture and then grids. So I'm going to add one, and then I'm going to offset them by 8,000 millimeters. So I'm going to add 10 of them. So it's going to be 8,000 offset. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I'm just going to center this and place it like that. Increase my scale and make it 1 is to 200. And then I'm going to draw a horizontal grid like this and then rename it to A and then press enter. Perfect. Now our grids are set up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place our bases for our abutments and also our piers. So how do we do that? Let's find out. And now we're going to use our grids where they intersect as our insertion points. So we're going to go to structure, foundation, and then isolated. We're going to load them in. Go to metric library, UK contents, structural foundation, footing rectangular, open. And then you're going to say add grids and then select only these all the grids except the first and the last one. So you're going to place them like this and say finish. Select one grid and then right click, select all instances visible in view and say edit type, duplicate, and now we're going to edit our parameters. So for our basis, we're going to make it 12,000 by 3,200 by 1,200 and say okay. And then this is going to be 12,000, 3,200. And then our thickness is going to be 1,200. Apply and then okay. So this is what we have. And now for our abutments, you're just going to say you can select only one base and say copy and then copy it to the first and the last grid and then select the two of them. Go to edit type, duplicate, and now we're going to say 16,000 by 6,800 by 1,200. Apply. So it's going to be 16,000, 6,800, 1,200. Apply and then OK. I think I did a mistake. So let me go to edit tab again. It's 16,000. I made it 1.6. So it's like that. Now go to your 3D view. This is what we have so far. Go back to your base structural floor plan. So the next thing is we're gonna adjust the what is it, the heights of our apartment bases. So you're gonna say you're gonna select the two of them, go to the south elevation. Actually before that, just go back to your base floor plan, select your views and then extend the view range of your sections or your elevations, I mean. So you're going to select them and then extend them beyond. Select them this side, extend. Select them this side and then extend. Go back to the south elevation. Now you can see everything. And now you're just going to select your levels and then extend everything. Perfect. And now go back to your bases. Actually, before we adjust our bases for our apartments, let's generate our pier columns. So we're going to use a column family template. So we're going to go with a file, new, family. And then we're going to drop down and say go to metric structural column and say open. And now our width, we're going to make it 10,000 millimeters. And then our depth, I think our depth, we can make it 1,200. Perfect. So we're just gonna extend these annotations so that we can see everything much more clearly. And now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the front elevation, and we're going to adjust our upper reference level, and then we're going to make it 7,500. And then we're going to extend these reference planes, lock it, extend the right one and also the left one, then extend the bottom one and the top one. So you're gonna go to create now. In order for us to generate our geometry, we're gonna go with swept blend and say sketch path, and then on the middle reference plane we're gonna draw a vertical line until we meet the upper reference level, and then we're gonna say finish. Select profile one. Profile one is based here, so we're gonna go with edit profile, floor plan, lower reference level, open view. And now we're gonna choose our rectangle, and then we're gonna draw our rectangle like this from the right reference plane to the left reference plane. Our width is gonna be set at 10,000 millimeters, and then our depth is gonna be 1,200. So we're gonna say finish and say select profile 2, edit profile, and then we're gonna select our rectangle again, and then we're gonna draw the same rectangle, but this time we're gonna offset it from the side. So you're gonna just randomly drag it like this, and then you're gonna adjust the offsets from the middle. So uh, you're gonna offset it from the middle reference plane by 3,000 millimeters, and then you're gonna do the same thing this side. So it's gonna be 3,000 millimeters. Open up the 3D view and say finish edit mode and say finish again, and this is what we have. So you're gonna select it and then apply the material to this. So you're gonna make it concrete, and then you're gonna drop down and say you can make it precast concrete, apply, okay. So change the level of detail, and as you can see, this is what we have. So you're gonna say load into project and close. I'm not gonna save this, I already did. And then you're gonna go back to your base, and then open up the column. Set the placement to vertical column, and then set your constraint to height, and then to the top level you're gonna set it to PS. And then to change its orientation, you're gonna press the space bar and then place it where the on top of your pier bases. Or to do things faster, you can say add grids and then select your grids. Or it's only gonna select one, so just place it like this. Open up the 3D view, and this is what we have. Now the next thing is let's before we generate our bridge abutments, let's adjust the height of our abutment bases. So go to the south elevation, and then you're gonna select your bridge bases, and then you're gonna say move, and then select on top of your bases, and then place it like this, just under the pier levels. So it's going to be set like that. Go to your 3D view, and this is what you have. We're gonna adjust it later. So after we generate our bridge abutment. So let's for our bridge abutment, we're gonna go with a file and say new, and then go to family, and then metric generic model, open. And now for our bridge abutment, we're gonna say the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna generate our first base. So we're gonna go to create, extrusion, select a rectangle, and then we're gonna offset it from this middle reference plane by 2.6, and then this side is gonna be also 2.6. And then these ones are we're gonna offset them by, actually we're gonna make it 7,000. And then this side also we're gonna make it 7,000. And then this side we're gonna make it 2.6. And then this side also we're gonna make it 2.6. So we're gonna say finish edit mode, go to your front elevation, and then you're gonna hover over the top of your base, press tab on your keyboard, select the top line, and then adjust the thickness and make it 1000 millimeters. Perfect. And then you're gonna go back to the reference level, and then you're gonna place your second base where your bearings are gonna be placed. So in order for us to do that, we're gonna go to create again, extrusion, select your rectangle, and then you're gonna place it like this. And then from you're gonna select this line and then offset it by 1500 millimeters. And then you're gonna say finish edit mode, go to open up the left elevation, and then just select your extrusion and then take it upwards like this, and say hover over here, press tab, and then select the top line, and then adjust the thickness. Make it the thickness, you're gonna make it 1500. Press enter, and then select this line also, or select this line, and then you're gonna make it 2200. So you're gonna just add a dimension on your length, hover over here, press tab on your keyboard, and then adjust this by making it 2200 millimeters. Press enter, remove your dimensions, and then go back to your 3D view. This is what we have so far. Go back to the left elevation, and now we're going to add our wall divider. So we're going to go to create extrusion again, and then we're going to add our extrusion on top of our second base. So you're going to take it upwards by 2987 millimeters, and then we're going to take it to the left by 400 millimeters, and then take it down again, and this is what we have. So you're going to say finish edit mode, go to your 3D view, and then you're going to extend it until the ends like this. So we are almost there. And now the last thing is we're going to add our wing walls, and in order for us to do that, we're going to go with the left elevation and then create extrusion again. So we're going to take it upwards until the top of our divider wall, and then from this insertion point we're going to take it 3000 millimeter to the right, and then we're going to take it upwards by 2500, and then we're going to say go to create again, reference plane, and then we're going to draw a horizontal line like this. Select that horizontal temporary reference plane, copy it, and then take it upwards by 866 millimeters, and then by further 727 millimeters. Perfect. And now you're going to say create again, reference plane, and then you're going to draw a vertical reference plane, select it and say copy, and then you're going to copy it to the right by 1500 millimeters. And then you're gonna say you're gonna select your line to continue drawing your extrusion, and then you're gonna take it diagonally until this insertion point, and then you're gonna take it downwards until this insertion point, and then you're gonna take it diagonally until you meet this insertion point. Now you can remove your temporary reference planes, and this is your wing wall. You're gonna say finish edit mode, go to your 3D view, drag it towards the end until it attaches like this. So, and then you're gonna select it. You're gonna go to reference level, your floor plan, hover over here, press tab on your keyboard, and then adjust the thickness by making it 300 millimeters. Select your wing wall and say mirror pick axis, and then pick the middle reference plane, and then it's gonna be copied to the other side. Go to your 3D view, and this is what we have. Select the entire bridge abutment, go to material, and then assign the material to this. So you're gonna say concrete, and then I'm just gonna make everything precast concrete. So you're gonna load it in, apply, okay, and then change the level of detail, and this is what we have. And now you're gonna say load into project and close. I'm not gonna save this, I already did. And then go to your base floor plan, and then to change its orientation, you're gonna press space bar. But in order for you to see the whole bridge abutment, just go with pier floor plan. So you're gonna say component again, and then just place it where these grids are intersecting. And then to adjust everything, just go back to the south elevation. And as you can see, this doesn't look right, so we're gonna adjust it. Don't worry about it. Say control select, and then select your abutment and along with your base. Go to move, and then from this point you're gonna drag it downwards like this, so it's gonna be placed like that. Perfect. And now I think the next thing is we're gonna take it to the right and adjust it again. So select your abutment in your base, and then say move, and then from this point we're gonna adjust it and then take it to the right until we meet this insertion point. So it's gonna be placed like that. Just select this base, remove it, and then select this abutment and base, and then look for grid number 5. So here's grid number 5. Mirror pick axis, pick your grid number 5, and then it's copied to the other side so we can adjust it. So from this point you're gonna drag it until it meets this point. So go back to your 3D view, and this is what we have. And now the next thing is we're gonna place our bridge bearings. So in order for us to generate our bearings, we're gonna be using a generic model. We're gonna model our bearings as a single family. So we're gonna go back to just open up your bearings floor plan. You can just close down the other floor plans, go to file, new, and then family, and then you're gonna drop down, say metric generic model, open, and now you're gonna go to the front elevation. So we're gonna set up our levels first, go to reference plane, and then randomly draw a horizontal reference plane. So you're gonna adjust the level, so you're gonna make it 75 millimeters. Press copy, and then you're gonna copy it by 100 millimeters, another 75 millimeters, and then a further 60 millimeters. So you're gonna have your steel plate, another steel plate, another steel plate, and then you're gonna have your concrete epoxy on top. So let's open up the floor plan reference level, and then for our bearings, we're gonna say create extrusion, and then we're gonna select a rectangle option, and then we're gonna randomly place it like this, and then we're gonna adjust it. So this side we're gonna make it 300 millimeters, and then this side, and the total length, it's gonna be 600. So this side is gonna be 600, 300 also. Then this side we're also gonna make it 300. And then this side also we're gonna make it 300. Perfect. And now we're gonna say finish edit mode, go to the front elevation, and then we're gonna adjust it until it meets the top reference plane. And now we're gonna select it, apply the material to this. So we're gonna say metal. So we're just gonna drop down and then press select just a random one. So we can say metal start layer and then load it in, apply, and then OK. And then open up the 3D view, and this is what we have so far. So you can just change the level of detail. Go back to your reference level. We're gonna add another one. So we're gonna go to create and then extrusion, and then we're gonna choose the circle option, and then we're gonna place it like this. So it's gonna be 600 in diameter, and then say OK. Go to the front elevation, and then we're gonna adjust it and place it like this, and then like this. Go to the 3D view, and this is what we have. So you're going to select it, change the material, metal start layer, OK. So this is what we have. And then we're going to select this extrusion, go to the front elevation, and then we're going to copy it upwards. So we're going to say unconstrained, and then copy it upwards. And then it's the same as the one that we placed first. So it's 75 millimeter in thickness, and the material is same. So this is what we have. And now back to the front elevation, we're going to model our concrete epoxy, and our concrete epoxy is going to be very much different in shape. So we're going to go with create, swept blend, sketch path, and then we're going to draw a horizontal vertical line right in the middle of this middle reference plane, and say finish edit mode. Select profile 1, edit profile, go to the floor plan reference level, and then we're going to select our rectangle option, and then we're going to place our rectangle like this by using our steel plate as our reference, and then go to finish edit mode and say select profile 2, edit profile, and then rectangle again, and then we're going to press it like this by using our rectangle for our steel rectangle as our reference. And then you're gonna select all your lines, all your the entire rectangle. And then in order for you to increase, we have to increase the size of this second profile, because the shape of our epoxy differs uh, um, in terms of the two rectangle profiles we produced. So select the whole rectangle, and then go to scale, and then select the midpoint, and then drag your mouse to the right until you meet the, the, the the perimeter of your shape, and then select again, and then drag it to the right again until your offset is set to 350 millimeters, and then go to your 3D view and say finish edit mode, and then finish again. So this is what we have. And now you can say you can select your extrusion, go to material, and then type in concrete, and then we're gonna drop down, and then you can make this concrete cast in place gray and load it in, apply, OK. And this is what we have. So you're gonna say load into project. I'm not gonna save this, I already did. And then go to your bearings floor plan, and this is our bearing. So we're gonna place it 1500 offset from our horizontal grid like this. Go to your 3D view, and this is what we have. So we're gonna have to adjust our offset of our bearings. So go to the south elevation, and as you can see, this is what we have. So in order for us to attach our column with towards our our bearings, the downside of our bearings, we're going to have to adjust the top level of our columns. So we're going to set the top level to bearings, and as you can see, this is what we have. So go to your 3D view, select only one bridge pair, right click, select all instances visible in view, and then set the top level to bearings. So perfect. Now go to your bearings floor plan, select your bearing that you have placed, go to mirror pick axis, and then pick this middle grid, and now it's copied to the other side. Select your bearings again, and then copy them from grid to grid to place them on top of the other bridge piers. Now we're gonna say we're gonna select our bridge bearings again, and then we're gonna copy them towards our bridge apartment. So you're gonna offset them by 7,000 millimeters. You're gonna do the same thing this side. You're gonna select them, copy them, and then offset them by 7,000 millimeters. Go to your 3D view, and this is what we have. So go to the south elevation, and so we're gonna select our abutments and also their bases, abutments and their bases, and then we're gonna move them until the bridge bearings are placed on top of our abutments. So this is what we have. Go to your 3D view, and we are almost there. So the next thing is we're gonna generate our bridge deck, which is the most interesting part in my opinion. So in order for us to generate our bridge deck, before we do that, just select your levels, right click, maximize, and say maximize the 3D extend, maximize the 3D extend for all your levels, just to make things much more organized. So perfect. Now we're gonna go to file, new, family, drop down, and then you're gonna say matrix structural framing, beams and braces, open. And now you're just gonna remove this extrusion that comes with the family template, and then this line, and then these extra reference planes. And then you're gonna go to the left elevation, and now we're just gonna create a dummy family. And what I mean by that, we're not gonna add like parameters to this. We're just gonna model our geometry. So we're gonna go to create extrusion, and then set our reference to reference plane left, and then okay. And then from this insertion point, we're gonna take it to the left by 7,000 millimeters. And then we're gonna, from this point, we're gonna take it down by 300, and then we're gonna take it to the right by 500, and then we're gonna take it diagonally by 45 degrees and 600 millimeters, and then we're gonna take it upwards again by another 45 and 600 millimeters, and then take it to the right again by 900. And now we're gonna take it downwards by diagonally by 50 degrees, and our length is gonna be 3,000 millimeters, and then take it to the right by 2,823.1. So you're gonna select all your lines, go to mirror pick axis, and then pick the middle reference plane, and this is what we have. So you're just gonna remove this line and then this line, just to make it a single family. It makes it much easier in terms of the geometry. So we're gonna say pick lines and say set the offset to 500 millimeters. And then you're gonna select this top line, and then also this the line at the bottom, and then you're gonna set another offset of 800 millimeters, and then select these diagonal lines, and then go to trim and extend, and then you're gonna say trim and extend, trim and extend. And then now you're gonna say actually these lines, you can select these lines, and then you can make them diagonal until it's aligned with this line. So you're gonna say you're gonna adjust it like this. You're gonna do the same thing this side. You're gonna make it diagonal until you see these blue dotted lines, which indicate that this point is aligned with this line. So you're gonna adjust it like this, and this is what we have. And now the last thing is we're gonna say line again, and then from you can just select the horizontal line, select this line, and then actually go to reference plane, just place your reference plane like this. Select your reference plane, copy it to the right by 200 millimeters, and say select your line, and then from this point you're gonna take it diagonally until this point. And then you're gonna say trim and extend, trim and extend. Select this diagonal line, go to mirror pick axis, pick your middle reference plane, and then it's copied to the other side. Go to trim and extend, trim and extend. Remove these temporary reference planes, and now this is your bridge deck. And now I'm gonna go to the floor plan reference level and say finish, and then drag your extrusion to the right reference plane and then lock it, and then drag it to the left reference plane and then lock it in order for you to control its length when it's in your project. So you're gonna say load into project and close. I'm not gonna save this. And then I'm gonna open up my deck structural plan, and then go to structure beam, and then from this insertion point I'm gonna drag it until the this grid line, this point. Go to my 3D view, and this is what we have. Now I'm gonna go back to my deck, and then select my deck, and then copy it until it meets the other abutment on the other end. So go to my south elevation, and as you can see, this is what we have. But obviously, I'm going to have to adjust the levels. So I'm going to select one deck and then right click, select all instances visible in view. And then I'm just going to type in one on my start level offset and end level offset in order for me to control them by moving them. So I'm going to say, while it's still selected, I'm going to say move, and then move them from the bottom until it meets the top of our bearings. So this is what we have. Go to the 3D view, and we are almost done. And now the next thing is I'm gonna place our road, our asphalt for. Actually, I'm gonna place our bridge parapets, which I almost forgot. So, in order for us to do that, we're gonna apply the same logic. And I actually forgot to apply the material to this. So I'm gonna select my deck, go to Edit Family, select my extrusion material, type in concrete, and then drop down, and then I'm gonna make this precast concrete, apply, okay, load into project. I'm not gonna save this, override the existing version, and now as you can see the material has changed. And now for our bridge parapets, I'm gonna go with file, new, family, and then I'm gonna drop down and then go to matrix structural framing beams and braces, open, and then I'm just going to remove this extrusion and then remove this line and then these extra reference planes. Go to the left elevation, and then I'm going to say create extrusion, set the reference to reference plane left, and then OK. And now for our bridge parapet, I'm going to take it upwards by from this insertion point. I'm going to take it upwards by 1000 millimeters, and then I'm gonna take it to the right by 250 millimeters. Actually, I'm gonna make it 300 millimeters, and then I'm gonna take it diagonally by 75 degrees. Actually, I'm gonna say line again, and then from this insertion point, I'm gonna take it to the right by 300, and then take it upwards by 200 millimeters, then to the left by 250, then I'm going to take it up by another 250, then I'm going to choose this start end start end radius arc, and then from this point, I'm gonna draw up a sloping line like this. So I'm gonna select it and then set this radius to 800 millimeters, and then from this point I'm gonna say fillet arc and then select these two and then set it to 80 millimeters. This side I'm gonna select these two and then set it to 500. And now I'm gonna select the line and then place chamfer here with a distance of 20 millimeters, and then draw a diagonal line. Go to trim and extend and say trim and extend, trim and extend. Another chamfer here, I'm gonna make it 20 and then draw a diagonal line. Say trim and extend, trim and extend. Add another chamfer here, so I'm gonna make it 20 millimeters. Say trim and extend, trim and extend. And now I'm gonna select the whole of my bridge parapet and say I'm gonna say move, and then from this insertion point I'm gonna drag it until it's placed on this insertion point. So this is what we have. I'm gonna say finish edit mode, go to reference level, and then I'm gonna drag it to the right reference plane, lock it, and then drag it to the left reference plane and then lock it. Open up the 3D view, and this is what we have. So I'm gonna select it, say material, and then set the material to concrete, precast concrete. Change the level of detail, and as you can see, this is what we have. I'm gonna say load into project. I'm not gonna save this, and then I'm gonna go back to my deck structural plan, go to structure, beam, and then from this point I'm gonna draw our parapet, which is 8,000 millimeter in length, and then go to my 3D view. Obviously it's not gonna be set right, and as you can see it's facing the other way. In order for you to change its orientation, you're gonna go back to your floor plan and then select this arrow which changes its orientation. To adjust its level, you're gonna say a section, cut a section in the middle of your parapet and your bridge deck, and then open up that section, change the scale so you can see things more clearly, and then select your parapet, which is a beam originally. So you're gonna just type in one on your start level offset and end level offset, so you can adjust the heights manually. So you're gonna say move, and then from this insertion point you're gonna drag it upwards until it meets this insertion point of your bridge deck. And as you can see, this is what we have. So you're gonna go to your 3D view, and as you can see, this is what we have. So you're gonna select your parapet, go back to your deck level, and then you're gonna copy it from grid to grid. And now you're going to select one parapet, right click, select all instances visible in view, and then go to mirror pick axis and then pick this grid, and then everything is copied to the other side. Go to your 3D view, and this is what we have. Now the two last things is our approach slab and also our roadway or asphalt. So let's model our approach slab first. So you're gonna go to your deck level and then go with the foundation structural foundation slab. Edit type, duplicate, and say 300 millimeter. Uh, Approach slab, and then okay, and then it's already set to 300, so you're going to say okay, and then select your rectangle, and then you're going to place it like this within the bounds of your wing walls, and then you're just going to make it let's make it 6,000 millimeters from this point. And now our approach slab, obviously it's going to be sloping, so you're going to say slope arrow, and then from this point you're going to drag it until this point, and then set your constraint to slope, and then you're going to set your slope to let's say -5 degrees. Say finish, go to the south elevation, and this is what you have. So we're gonna say, you're gonna select your approach slab, go back to your south elevation, and then you're gonna select it and then drag it down like this until this insertion point. And as you can see, this is what we have. So when you change this to realistic, I think this is the more detailed bridge that we just modeled. So we can just change it back to shaded in order for us to navigate much faster. So we're gonna go back to our deck floor plan, select our approach slab, and then we're gonna copy it to the other side. Now it's copied to the other side. Go to a 3D view, and this is what we have. And now we're gonna place our asphalt on top of our bridge decks. So we're gonna go with roadway floor plan, and then we're gonna go to structure floor, and then edit type, duplicate, and then we're gonna say roadway. We're just gonna name it road. Go and say okay, and then edit, and then remove these layers. So you're gonna be left with only one layer. So we're gonna make this one asphalt. And then we're gonna say asphalt pavement dark gray, load it in, and then apply okay. And then the thickness we're gonna make it 150 millimeters. Okay, apply, and then okay. And then you're gonna select your rectangle, and then you're gonna place it from this point and then until this point. Say finish edit mode, go to 3D view, and this is what you have. Now it's perfect. When you go to your south elevation, and this is where your asphalt is based. So you can just change this to shaded, and then go to your 3D view, and this is what you have. So we're gonna generate our schedule. So go to schedule, right click, and say new material takeoff, and then it's gonna be a multi-category material takeoff. So you're gonna say okay. The first thing we're gonna load in is our category. Load it in, our type, load it in, and then our family, load it in, and then area. So you're gonna say material area along with the material volume, count. And then usually when you use classification or uni class 2015, you can also load in your classification. It makes it easier for the estimators in order to generate bills of quantities from your 3D models. But we're just gonna go with the basics on this project. So you're gonna say, and then you're gonna say okay. So this is your schedule. So in order for us to make it much more presentable, you're gonna go to sorting and grouping. The first one you're gonna sort by category, the second one by type, and then the third one by family. And then you're gonna say footer, check in footer, title count, totals, and then you're gonna say blank line. And then you're gonna say go to formatting, choose your material. You're gonna say calculate totals, and then field format. As you can see, this is what we have. I think it's fine. So you're gonna say for the material also, you're gonna say calculate totals, and then the appearance, I think it's fine. The sorting and grouping and is fine. Itemize every instances, I think it's fine. So you're gonna say grand totals again, and then you're gonna say okay. And now the materials, everything is just separated. You can see how much quantities you have generated on your on your on your on your materials. Obviously, you would have named your components, your bridge abutments, your bridge parapets, and all those stuff. So as you can see, for our columns, for our piers, this is how much concrete we have generated. It's 599.81 cubes of concrete. And then for our foundations, for our footings, for our pier footings, we generated 368.64 cubics of concrete. So that's the very interesting thing about a BIM model. It's not just geometry, it's also information and metadata. So back to our 3D view. This is what we have, guys. I hope you guys can apply some of this logic when it comes to your project. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I tried to keep it as short as I could, and I hope to see you next time. I saw your recommendations on the comments. One guy recommended the box covered with wing walls. I'm generating that as we in the moment. And other guy recommended the Gera bridge. Oh, then the one thing I forgot, guys, in order to generate, which I'm sorry about, is our piles. So let's generate our piles. I tried to do things as fast as I could. I forgot to model the one of the most important things for the stability of our bridge. So just go back to your bases, and then for your piers, you're gonna go to structure, and then under foundation, you're gonna go with isolated load family, and then metric library, UK contents, and say structural foundations. And then, as you can see on our library, we have only steel pipe for our power. So we're gonna load that in, but we're gonna change its material. So you can just place it right in the middle like this, and then set this to wireframe to see everything. Select your pile, go to edit family, select, and then for material for model behavior, you're going to change it to concrete. Select your pile, and then go to under properties, go to family types, and then structural material, you're going to say concrete. And then you're going to drop down, and then you're going to set this to concrete cast in situ. Apply, and then OK, apply, and then OK, and then load into project. I'm not gonna save this. Override the existing version and its parameters, and then you can change the diameter of these piles. So I'm gonna make it 600 millimeters, and then I'm just gonna move them. So from this point, I'm gonna move them to this point, and then I'm gonna copy it to the other side like this. And then I'm gonna select these two piles, press copy, and then I'm going to copy them and then offset them by 3000 millimeters. And then I'm going to say mirror pick axis, and then pick this grid, and then it's copied to the other side, and then go to a 3D view. And this is what we have. So I'm going to select these piles, go to the south elevation, and then go select move, select the top of our piles, and then drag it downwards until it's at the bottom of our base. But we have to also offset them 150 millimeter embedded into our base. So I'm gonna select move again, select the top of our piles, and say move them by 150 millimeters. While it's still selected, I'm gonna say copy, and then copy them from grid to grid. Go to the 3D view, and this is what we have. Obviously, we also need piles on our abutment bases. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go with bases. Our bases. Uh, Press VR for view range, set the top range to 4000 millimeters, and then the cut plane to 4000 millimeters. Apply, OK. We still can see our basis for our abutments. So I'm going to set it to 7000, 7000. Apply, OK. Now we can see our base for our bridge abutments. So I'm going to say structure again. Foundation isolated, I'm gonna select my 600 millimeter diameter, which is small by the size of our for the size of our bases of our abutments. So I'm gonna say edit type, duplicate. I'm gonna make this one 1200. Okay, and then I'm gonna make the diameter 1200, apply, and then okay. And then I'm gonna place it right in the middle like this, select it, and then I'm gonna move it from this point to that point by 1500. And then I'm gonna say mirror draw axis. Then from the middle of this base, I'm gonna drag my mirror, and then it's copied to the other side. Control select, copy, and then from this point, I'm gonna copy to the right by 3000. And then I'm gonna say mirror pick axis, pick this grid, and then it's copied to the other side. And then I think I'm gonna add more, so I'm gonna select these two again, copy, and then copy another one by 3000 millimeters. And then this side also, I'm gonna select these two and then copy them from this point by another 3000 millimeters. Go to your 3D view, and as you can see, we have to select them, go to the south elevation, and then I'm gonna select these, and then I'm gonna drag them underneath. While they're still selected, I'm gonna say move again, and then embed them by 150 millimeters. While it's still selected, I'm gonna say copy, and then I'm gonna select this, the middle of our base is our insertion point, and then I'm gonna copy them to the other side like this. Go to the 3D view, and this is what we have. The last thing is, the one thing I also forgot is our blinding, which is gonna be based underneath our bases. So I'm gonna go back to bases structural plan, and then foundation slab. I'm gonna say edit type, duplicate, and then I'm gonna say 75 millimeter blinding layer, and say okay, and then edit. And then the thickness, I'm gonna make them 150. Change the material to concrete. So it's gonna be concrete cast in place. Okay, okay, apply, and then okay. And then I'm gonna pick this rectangle, and then I'm gonna place it right under our base for our piers. And then I'm gonna say finish edit mode, go to the south elevation, and this is where it's placed. So I'm gonna adjust the offset and then drag it downwards until it's underneath our base. And then while it's still selected, I'm gonna copy it from grid to grid. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this blinding and then copy it towards this base for our abutments, and then adjust the parameters. So I'm gonna go back to our base floor plan, and then edit sketch, and then I'm gonna say aligned, and then I'm gonna align it to this side, and then align, then I'm gonna say finish edit mode, and then I'm gonna say copy it, and then from this point I'm gonna copy it to the other bridge abutment base. Go to the 3D view, and as you can see, this is our blinding for our bridge abutment. Perfect. And now guys, one thing that bugs me is I didn't change the names of I didn't save our families. So our schedule looks like it's not very much organized. So I'm going to say, go to the 3D view. I'm going to start with our bridge parapet. So I'm going to say edit family. So I'm going to save it, save family. So I'm just going to say, I'm just gonna go to documents, and then I'm gonna name it bridge parapet. Save, then load into project and close. go to my 3D view, select my deck, edit family, file. I'm gonna save it and say bridge deck. So I'm gonna name it one. I saved so many bridge decks, so I'm gonna save it, load into project and close, and then go back to my 3D view, select this, edit family, file, save as bridge abutment, save, load into project and close, go to my 3D view again, and then I'm gonna say, I think that is it. So when I go back to my material takeoff, so I think when I go to my 3D view, select my bridge deck, edit type, rename. So I'm gonna name this bridge. Actually, I'm gonna select it, right click, select all instances, and then I'm gonna drop down, and then I'm gonna assign it bridge deck 1. Select my bridge parapet, right click, select all instances visible in view, drop down, and then bridge abutment. Select my parapet, right click, select all instances visible in view, drop down, and say bridge parapet. Now go back to your schedule, and now as you can see, a lot of your families are changed. And I think these ones haven't, or these ones, I think it's our bearings. So we're gonna change that. Select your bearings, edit family, go to file, save as family, and then you're gonna name this bridge bearings, save, and then load into project and close. Select your bearings, right click, select all instances visible in view, drop down, and then assign it to bridge bearings. Go to your schedule, and this is what we have. The last thing is our peers. So I'm going to select my columns, go to edit family, file, save as family, and then bridge peers, and then save, load into project and close, and then go back to my schedule, and then go to my 3D view, select my bridge peers, right click, select all instances visible in view, drop down, and then assign bridge peers. Go to my schedule, and then everything is changed. So this is what we have on our schedule. Yeah, so thank you guys for sticking through this long tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope you guys can apply this same logic on some of your projects just for visualization. And the thing is, I have much more detailed project which I'm ready to post and which I'm ready to give out to you guys, but I want to do that in Patreon. So I want to start a Patreon whereby I have full beam models which I produced, which are consisting of 4D animations, uh, which also have videos which demonstrate how a building is constructed, and also bridges and so on, which are fixed with schedules, classification, beam metadata. It's not only 3D geometry; it's also non-graphical information. It's a sort of like a full beam project which I want to give with you, which I want to post and give to you guys. So if you support my Patreon, I hope you guys will be exposed to more. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day or a great night, and I'll see you on the next tutorial. Peace.